Hi, what's going on? My name's Jasper Spicero. The name of my presentation is called Nanashi No Game, the Nameless Game. I've had the opportunity to speak publicly at jails and rehabs and places, but it's very rare that I get the opportunity to speak in front of like an art context. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm also really happy to be here too. So I'll just start. I wrote it all out. Okay. The Nameless Game. This is an automated bell choir that was created for the blind. Each participant wears a cellular device on their wrist that vibrates when they are supposed to ring their bell. The result is a beautiful song. There is no rehearsal that is required. You put on the device and you can just begin. In this way, being a part of this choir is like playing a game. The creator of this system is a new friend of mine. His name is Jerry Simon. We will have the opportunity to work on a project together soon here in New York. I have a show opening at the Swiss Institute in January. Okay. This is a film I made here in this building, but on a different floor. It is about a boy who goes through an experiential therapy program that's designed to create freedom and love in its participants. In the first of the exercises, the co-founders ask Gladdy, who is the boy, to choose a bird that he identifies with. A wooden bird.
Hello, Gladdy. We're so happy to have the gift of you being here with us.
Hi, Gladdy. How was your day today?
It was okay. Maybe I don't need to be here. I think I'm better already.
I'm open to being wrong about you. My gut tells me that you want to have more than an okay day. So Lenny and I are here to help lift you up.
We're going to ask you a few questions. Just point at the wooden birds to answer them.
This is Lenny. He is what we call a proctor.
So they ask him, and he chooses a bird. Each bird has a bracelet on their head or around their neck, and then they put the bracelet on him. To me, birds represent freedom, resourcefulness, and being able to see a bigger aerial view of life. Oops. Also, I use the color blue very frequently in my artwork. It's my favorite color. To me, it represents clarity of vision, peace, rarity, and sometimes artificiality. This is an empty prison where I created a project called Centers in Pain. This is a montage I created of photographs of the prison. The music is from a video game called Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a game where you play as a boy who becomes the mayor of a cartoon town where everyone else is a talking animal. As the boy, you get to name and decide the layout of the town. This person called their town Texas. This is the police station in Animal Crossing. The genre of this game is called slow life. In slow life games, you live a simplified version of life, day to day, hour by hour, and minute by minute. Usually the days go by very fast. Prison is nothing like Animal Crossing. However, it is a designed place that empties life down to its barest parts. Prison tells its participants that they don't matter. Animal Crossing is a game where the player matters the most. Here are a few examples of sculptures I made for this empty, unused prison. These are works from a show I created called Century School. They are artworks about going to school. In some of the pieces I used old yearbook clippings. These century-like pieces are about roaming hallways from one class to the next on a schedule over and over again. School is a game that is designed to help people learn ideas and create things. When I went to school, I spent more time not paying attention to the purpose of school. I did other things. Doing other things is still my favorite part of playing any game. The moments that are unrelated to the total purpose, goal, and completion of the game. This game is called Metal Gear Solid 2. Here, the player is shooting birds with a tranquilizer to put them to sleep. They slip in bird poop and shoot birds with bullets. Some experiences are even more narrow than school and Metal Gear Solid 2.
Also known as TLC.
Some experiences are more like a straight hallway. For some, the hallway could be a beautiful walkway that changes their lives. And for others, the hallway might be just okay or at worst, just plain awful.
Tools and resources, training and consultation for professionals who work with youth who've experienced trauma. These trainings, tools, and resources utilize the evidence-based SITCAP model and are both practical and sensory-based. Professionals use these tools and resources in the classroom, clinical settings, and in the home environment. At TLC, we see trauma as something that has happened to the individual, not something that's wrong with them.
These are artworks I made for a show that I titled The Starling Hallway. This is one work. didn't switch. There we go. Uh-oh. This is a game called Lennis 2. These are the kinds of games I played when I was a child. I still play them today, and they remind me of my childhood. Childhood is a playful and adventurous game, and it can also be a narrow and linear game, like Lennis 2. This sculpture of mine is called The Driven Gift. It is also from the Starling Hallway. Okay. This is my favorite scene from the short movie I made called The
Before I
Glady
found
Day.
the gift of desperation, I lived in the caboose, not doing much. Most of it.
Is there a way to turn up the audio slightly? Speaker?
Damn time, the train wasn't moving. You know, before I found the gift of desperation, I lived in the caboose, not doing much. Most of the damn time, the train wasn't moving. But what did I care? Okay, you are on a train. Lenny is unconscious in the conductor's control room. You're motionless in the middle of nowhere. Wake him the hell up and roll him in your forward motion. I'm waiting for you to move the train forward so we can make a difference in the world together. Okay, don't be stubborn with me.
Hey, Lenny? Hey, please. Can you just get the freak up and drive this thing? Why are you all wasting my time making me play some dumb game? All right, you weirdo. Get up.
You got this, Lady Day.
You asked for it.
I'm awake.
You got my attention. Let's do this. Let's drive this train as far as we can without stopping.
I'm the silent wooden driver. I drive the silent wooden train. Can we become loud? Can we finally gain a voice? Can we come to life? Can we stand up for ourselves? I'm the silent wooden driver, and I'm becoming whole. Can we become love? Can we finally have a choice? Can we come to life? Can we stand up for each other? We're the silent wooden driver, and we're becoming whole.
Try to be the one that makes a difference. And try to put your fear and doubt aside. And try to make the most of every moment. Because if you never try, you never win.
Thank you.
We have time for 2 or 3 questions.
So is the bird a kid, or is it like his avatar that he's picking? It's not that concrete.
I would say it is, or maybe a companion, but I think it is left undecided. I like both options, I guess, yeah, that it could be an avatar, or it could be just like a friend,
And why
too.
birds?
Birds, it started because my grandmother is a bird watcher, and she also had a lot of birds in her house, and that was kind of the starting point for me in terms of my looking at them more closely and kind of appreciating them as a animal. And then, yeah, that was the start. And then the more I use them, I feel like it creates more of kind of a more momentum and more of a narrative, and they start to represent more to me, you know.
In your sculptures, you use, do you build them with things that you find, or you build materials?
It's usually a mixture of both things. There's a lot of found material, and then there's even there's a lot of fabrication too. Like some of the birds, I outsourced them from woodshop teachers at different high schools. And one of the birds, the duck, at the end of that scene was from a woodshop class in Washington State, where the teacher, every year he makes a bird as a part of the class, and everyone in the class makes a bird. So that's the one that he made, I think in 2017. But it's a mixture of both. And some of the things I make myself, too. Yeah. So.
When you were working in the
For the most part, I made them before I got there, but I had probably about a year and a half of preparation. There's a lot of, I visited the space twice, and I looked at a lot of photographs of it too. So it was kind of like the work really was made for that space. And then even when we got there, there were kind of like adjustments made to the sculptures in response to the space too. Yeah.
How did you come to being able to use that space?
I first read about it in a newspaper that it's in Oregon, and the county, Multnomah County, built that prison, and then I think it was the housing crisis or something interrupted the kind of flow of finances there, and then they didn't have enough money to actually operate the prison, so it was just empty, and it was empty, I think, from 2004. I think actually this year they started a project to turn it into something, but yeah, I just read about it, and then I contacted the sheriff, and they were really open actually to letting me use it. So yeah, yeah, it was incredible. It was a humbling thing. Yeah.
I wanted to ask if wood specifically has a certain concrete significance in the work.
Mhm.
Because it's a recurring theme, the wooden bird, the wooden driver, and then at the same time it parallels with the digital virtual video games, et cetera. I mean, they're both staples of childhood, but I wanted you to kind of expand on the medium of it.
Sure. I love that, like you said, that they are staples of childhood, and I like when you use the word wooden to describe somebody or something, it's as though it were empty or emotionless, and I like that use of the word. I like that when trees are made into like a wooden bird or an object, they're kind of disembodied from their life source. And so they have this kind of hollow, empty presence to me when I look at something made out of wood. And that kind of makes dressing it up, like shaping the wood into a bird and then dressing it up with fabric and buttons and jewelry. That kind of like, I think really accentuates the kind of emptiness of the wooded object. And I also like the associations of it too, that it has a childhood, having wooden toys or furniture and all of that too.
Could you talk more about the decision to incorporate song into your last film, in terms of the way you use music in your other short films was more disembodied from what was not exactly from what was going on visually, but seeing people start singing something.
Yeah, I've always loved music, and I've always loved the kind of power that it brings to work and spaces and objects and people too. I think for me, the difference between in the past to recently has to do with kind of a personal shift towards people, you know, like I was kind of reluctant to have a musical section, but because I had never done anything like that before, that really, usually my work was about kind of like the absence of people, and music kind of just bouncing off the walls of like an empty place, you know? And I just, once we rehearsed that, and that musical portion came together really quickly, and once we rehearsed it, I was just so taken by how everyone was brought together by this song. And I have a different appreciation for musicals now. Yeah, thanks.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.